Ford's Theater, a place of celebration and happiness. Ford's Theater, a place of laughter and the arts. A place of death and darkness. On a dark, stormy night in April, a gunshot thundered from the walls and windows of Ford's Theater. The result was President Lincoln lying on the ground with a bullet hole punctured in his brain, slowly dying. The assassin in question was John Wilkes Booth, actor and Confederate supporter. Creeping into the balcony, undetected, John Wilkes Booth shot the beloved president with a Derringer pistol. Barely escaping, Booth fled to Washington, D.C., and was eventually captured and brought to justice by being shot. Ford's Theater, owned and operated by John T. Ford, was a performing arts center and a popular socializing spot for regarded politicians and the people of Washington, D.C. During the Civil War, it was one of the most popular places to socialize and gather. For the Lincolns, it was like any other night at the theater. They arrived at the theater, greeting their guests and fellow peers, and then made their way to their reserved balcony. Accompanying the Lincolns was Major Henry Rathbone, high-ranked military major, also Clara Harris, daughter of a U.S. Senator and Rathbone's wife-to-be. The president's balcony overlooked the stage from the side and gave a great view of the performance. Inside the balcony, there was a sofa and 2 chairs for the president, his wife Mary, and his guests to sit comfortably in. The performance that the president and his guests were attending was Our American Cousin, an American classic and one loved by many Americans. Lincoln's regular bodyguard, William H. Crook, was off duty. Instead, John F. Parker took his place in having the responsibility of protecting the president. When Booth walked up to the door of the president's balcony, Parker was nowhere to be found. There are 2 historically accurate accounts of where Parker disappeared. One is that he either established a place in the audience or he went across the street to the Star Saloon, where he was not found until morning. Even worse, the door leading to the balcony stood ajar, allowing Booth to walk in undetected and carry out his twisted plot. Also, the hallway was dark, giving Booth the element of surprise on his side. None of the occupants of the theater box could see the door that led into the box. The 2 chairs and the sofa faced the stage, giving the Lincolns and the Rathbones no view behind them. They had no idea that Booth was behind the president until the gunshot went off, but by then it was too late. Booth had an extensive knowledge of Ford's Theater. He had previously worked there as an actor. He even acted in a performance that Lincoln himself attended. It was a regular thing for Booth to pick up his mail at the theater. This is how he heard the news that the Lincolns were coming to the theater to see a show. After hearing the news, Booth hatched his plan to exterminate the major political figure. Also, Booth practiced at the theater multiple times, honing his skills, and he knew the play Our American Cousin back to front. He knew it so well that he timed the gunshot to go off during a scene in the play that always sparked loud laughter from the audience. This would cover the sound that his pistol made when the plot was committed. None of the stage crew, actors, or actresses, and anyone else tried to stop Booth when he escaped and fled into the night. This was because they all thought that he was just leaving. They did not know that he was fleeing from committing one of the most disastrous crimes in American history. Lincoln was very cavalier or careless about his personal safety during his presidency. It was common to see the president walking between the White House and the War Department, which was about a quarter-mile walk, without any bodyguards or a way to defend himself from possible attackers. Lincoln would also commonly dismiss his bodyguards when attending events and walking out in the open. Anyone could walk in the White House and see the president without being searched or checked for possible murder weapons. Even though America was fighting a war, President Lincoln did not have anything to defend himself with. He had no knife or gun. This left him vulnerable, and there were actually many attempts before Booth to take the president's life. If Booth had never assassinated Lincoln, then the president today may still be very vulnerable. Booth caused America to make the safety of their president one of their top priorities. America developed technology to help protect their country's leader. One of these advancements was the development of the Secret Service, whose sole job is to protect the president and make sure that no harm comes to him. Booth can be viewed as a hero and a villain because even though he killed the president, he made America realize that their president was unprotected, and he also saved future presidents from future harm. Today, the president goes nowhere without some sort of protection near him.